Hey there, people of the internet, friends and family. Welcome back to the channel. It's me, yeah boy, D-Rex, and today we are reacting to a death battle. Ant-Man versus the Atom. Now, if you have not seen the official video, head over to the official Death Battle YouTube channel, watch it there, then come back and we'll watch it together. Alright, first and foremost, it's great to see Death Battle back in action. A lot of fights to look forward to. I am particularly looking forward to Bill Cipher versus Discord, and I mean, that one's just gonna be utter chaos, but hands down Bill Cipher's gonna win that one, no questions asked. But that is not what we are here to react. We are reacting to, as I previously stated, Ant-Man versus the Atom, and oh gosh, it is a tight match for me. I'm leaning more towards Ant-Man, but I think it's a possibility if for the Atom to win, and basically it comes down to is like who is smarter, who can outthink the other one. I mean, they both have alchemides that just are beyond comprehension for me. A lot of the science went over my head in this video, but it's just it's like I was like Hank Pym. I was able to create an AI program to take out Ultron, which was an AI program that he made, and that said program that he used to take out Ultron created its own little society or whatever. It's like I think that goes to speak like how intelligent Hank Pym is. I mean, it gives him, that's a very good reason why he's called the scientist supreme in his universe. And speaking of becoming or being named scientist supreme, they talk about how he grew that big to where he basically ascended into another level, another dimension. Because you have the microverse in both universes. But anyway, they say like as Giant Man, his strength is equal to that of Hercules, who is basically able to hold up the entire universe. So in terms of strength, as Giant Man clearly outclasses the Atom, who is able to, credit is due. His punches are that like equivalent to a fraction of the mass of a dwarf star, which I mean that's a lot of mass. But the problem with that is I think Atom will be, well, for one, too small for Hank Pym to see when he's that big, and also too fast, because they said like but Atom was able to move at the speed of light and basically reconstruct the molecules of a bomb before it went kaboom, which means his brain is processing at the speed of light as well, which that is totally mind-boggling. It's like, how do you think that fast while moving that fast at the same time? Your brain must be on like all cylinders times 1,000. Just insane. But yeah, in their micro forms or whatever, in terms of strength, Atom takes the edge in that. Though I think two of the things that put Ant-Man ahead is one, he can call for backup if he gets put into a tight corner, and I was like numbers, speak volumes. The numbers help in a battle. And like I said, ants can pick up things. I think it was 50 times, right? For some reason I want to say 5, but at the same time I'm like, no, it's 50. But anyway, so like at that size, I guess you're, for intents and purposes, you're like fighting rhinos. It's like a man trying to take on a charging rhino. It's just not going to end well. But of course, as I alluded to, because Atom's got that dwarf equivalent punch or whatever, that would probably make short work of the ants. But I do remember though the ants kind of in Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Ant-Man used ants to take on Gravitron or whatever, who I guess is like an omega level villain, and they were temporarily able to stop Gravitron from using his powers or whatever. So to me that's impressive. If little ants can temporarily stop a guy who has master over gravity, then I mean those are tough insects, not gonna lie. Now speaking of Earth's Mightiest Heroes, I think that is far superior than to Avengers Assemble, but hey, that's just my opinion. The other thing that I believe will give Hank Pym the edge is that camouflage suit, that basically makes him disguises him as an ant. So when all the ants swarm him or what, at him, that he can use that to maybe reposition himself to get a better attack angle or whatever he's got planned. And so I think, those are the two big things that might give Hank Pym the edge. Now, the only thing, and one of the big things that stood out, and this might be typical death battle, leaving some information on until the end. I mean, there are times they do that, and that's one of my irks. Between the two, they never really had anything negative to say about the Atom, which it's like, okay, yeah, it's like Pym, he can get stuck in his own head sometimes if he's getting under pressure or whatever. And another thing that is against Pym, though, unlike Atom, which apparently the radiation from the dwarf starware has no effect on him, Pym particles, on the other hand, do have a negative effect on him if he strains himself too much. Two things that came into mind was, like, I think it was the movie Ultimate Avenger. I could be wrong, but Pym in that film, he was more akin to being Ant-Man or whatever. I mean, he did Giant Man a few times, but in the second film, he was trying to push the limits of how big he could get, but it was putting such a strain on his body by the end of the film because he went too big. It basically killed him. And like how in Earth's Mightiest Heroes, he was trying to do something with the Pym. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was the episode when he became Yellow Jacket. The Pym particles, when the explosion went off, they basically messed with his brain chemistry. I mean, that's how from what I remember of that episode, and that's how I think that's what happened. Correct me if I'm wrong on that in the comment section. Yeah, the Pym particles, I think, like each version of these shrinking size abilities have their benefits, but so far, from as I can tell, the Pym particles are the only one that have drawbacks. So if anything, if Atom wins, it's because he's gonna exploit Pym's self-esteem and the strain of the Pym particles, because both these guys are smart enough. I think they could, figure out, how each other's powers work, even though their powers cannot work on each other, because the two made sure that no external forces can mess with their mass or the atoms are surrounding them and stuff like that. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going with Ant-Man, just also because I know Ant-Man a little bit more than the Atom. But yeah, so let's go ahead and see who wins. All right, here we go. And there's actually one thing I just remembered though too, is the Atom was able to take a hit from something that disintegrated a bunch of superheroes, including Superman. Now, Superman has taken hits from the Omega Beam from Darkseid. Like, as far as my knowledge is, Superman was the only person to ever. I'm sure there's some other people. I'm sure Doomsday could take a hit, but as I'll say though, like the Omega Beam is pretty much like instant death or whatever Darkseid wants, and if the Atom was able to take a hit from something that could disintegrate Superman, and so again, like it's the margin for who's gonna win is, no pun intended, so small. But I still think Hank Pym's going to take it. But there's only one way to find out. So let's go ahead and do this.
You should pick on someone your own size, relatively speaking.
How did you do this? It's laced with a particle I've never seen before.
And again, I love the blend of 3D animation and the pixelated animation. It makes it look so unique. I just love it. And of course, these two are getting all nerdy, but then they're going to try to prove who is the better scientist.
They're called Pym particles, and I'm Hank Pym, Scientist Supreme. You should have knocked.
Yeah, there you go, guys. Like, say, I'm Scientist Supreme. It's gonna have like Titanic battles in the smallest world. It's gonna be, it's always so entertaining. Dude, it was like in the first Ant-Man movie, how
Using pieces of a white dwarf star? That's cute.
Everything we needed already existed. You just needed to be smart enough to put the pieces together. Scientist Supreme?
oh, now he's trying to mock him. Okay, that was what I was talking about. It's like that's what Ant-Man is probably one of my the movie is probably one of my favorite films of all time, just because how up close it's like chaos, it's like all over the place, but yet in reality, from our perspective, it's just like, what's going on? So we're probably gonna see a lot of that, and it's probably just gonna be the icing on the cake. Oh.
Did you know that at any given moment, there are about 2.5 million ants under your feet?
I mean, that makes sense, but why are you bringing that up right now?
Well, because he's gonna use them. Calling in the army. Oh wait, I think I just saw him use the hologram. Oh, that's another thing I forgot. That I mean, they both know judo, they both know karate, except he's got a sword.
Okay, let's try this.
Yeah, the particles can't affect each other.
I'll hack his belt. You lay low and let me know what you find.
Oh,
Huh?
Nice try.
oh. Yeah, he uses weapons while Pym does. Well, he does. Again, I'm thinking of Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Ant-Man, because he's a pacifist. He doesn't really use,
Might be able to.
weapons until he became the Yellow Jacket. The Microverse. Okay, are they gonna get bigger and bigger? Is that what's gonna happen now?
What's happening? He must be reaching his limit. If we don't get out of here quick, he's gonna destroy all of reality. Now, my pets!
Oh,
You have your tricks and your tools, but I created something beyond the limits of human existence. I operate on a scale you can't even comprehend.
overspace. Yeah, this is something that he has no
How?
You
know,
can't be afraid
control
to
over
think
whatever.
big.
Oh, oh, oh! Yeah.
Not the end I'd wish for, lad.
Oh, what? Oh, that was.
Ant-Man and
Oh,
Ant both had many answers to each other's abilities.
that
and
was
arsenals. Both were able to store
horrifying.
various weapons at a shrunken state. Both were trained in.
Okay. Oh, similar speed. Similar in speed. Oh, I don't think that. I guess I missed that part. Let's see. Ant-Man smarter. Yep. Stronger and more durable. Oh, I thought. Oh, okay, I guess I was wrong there. I mean, again, but they'll be able to take a hit from something that disintegrates Superman of all people. I thought that would make Adam more durable, but all right. Power comes from his body naturally. Okay, that is a plus side, I guess. Can arguably shrink smaller at worst stalemates. Much larger arsenal. Can affect the probability of some of Hank's weapons. Can't grow larger than his natural height. Yep, that's a. Yeah, we saw how that turned out. BioBelt is accessible to hacking. Lesser examples of shrinking size Hank has attained. Okay.
Judo, and they both could obviously keep up with each other's ability to shrink at will.
Though there was one small thing.
Hank could reasonably replicate many of Ray's abilities. Ray Palmer, there we go. Including riding a beam of light, which even Scott Lang has done on occasion.
Couldn't answer to. The ants! Hank's bond with his pets lent him some small advantages, and Ray just didn't have enough anti-ant tools in his body.
Hank has used his ants to infiltrate technology as advanced as Reed Richards, the smartest man on Earth.
Belt.
But in Adam's defense, the fact that he could punch with a fist packed with all of his mass meant that a close-up fight, while small, would leave Hank with few options since he can only punch with his normal human strength.
Yep.
Even still, all Ant-Man would need to do is keep his dissed ants with the help of his insect confidence and devise another plan of ant tech. Something Hank
Gosh, Boomstick, the puns. I love them and hate them at the same time.
Destroying the belt only meant that Ant-Man could alter Adam's size.
Whereas Hank has literally rewritten his own biology to prevent.
While Hank and Ray could both shrink similar than concepts, only Hank had the means to counter this by forcing Adam into a larger size. Yep.
Outside size alteration. And while Adam's abilities are definitely impressive, they are limited, and Ant-Man simply aren't, at least by comparison. Hank could always match Ray's size or just take the fight to the overspace where he would have the edge, both physically and mentally.
The overspace can mess with the human mind, but we've seen that Hank can handle it.
But if the Scientist Supreme is really so smart, why didn't he just immediately go up Adam's butt?
Well, sorry, just one question though. It's like, okay, so if Reed Richards was able to get to the overspace and survive, wouldn't he then technically be considered, Scientist Supreme? I mean, if he could, I think he would, since he's considered the smartest man on Earth. But anyway, I just want to throw that out there.
Blow him up from the inside.
What's wrong with you, Wiz? Aren't you a fellow man of science?
This is the meanest thing you've ever done to me.
Adam sized up Ant-Man, but in the end, he was the one who had to say, Uncle.
The winner is Ant-Man.
All right.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We have a new Death Battle releasing every 2 weeks this year. And click the join button to get new perks and extra content. Planet level members even see Death Battles before anyone else, so don't miss
If you guys
out.
want to do that, go ahead and do it. All right, who's next? Knight Eterios. Dark Souls versus Skyrim. Chosen Undead versus Dragonborn. Well, this is going to be a whole new experience for me because I have not played either game. Well, alrighty then. I can't find anything flawed with their explanations. I mean, yeah, everything pretty much made sense to me, I guess, as much as my primitive mind can understand the high levels of scientific stuff that they were talking about. But it's good to try to learn things that you're not too familiar with. But I guess I will admit I wasn't really sure if Ant-Man was gonna win or not, just because there were some things I thought that Adam was better at, because the speed, that was the kind of one of the big ones, because I don't remember them ever talking about it specifically in the analysis portion, but I guess I just may not have been paying attention. It is very, very likely. But I was right that how the overspace in the ants would be a huge factor in the fight, and I did forget how Ant-Man has a history of sneaking into people's tech and dismantling it from the inside. But I digress. Thank you guys so much for joining me in today's video. Let me know in the comment section if you agree with the outcome of this fight. If not, give me your reasons why. Why do you think the Atom should have won? And before we close today's video, for the time being, every Friday or Saturday, depending on my schedule, I will be live streaming Xenoblade Chronicles 3 at 6 p.m. Just because I believe we are getting down to the final moments in the game. So I just want to go to finish the chapter. Words. I want to finish the game with you guys, those who've already played it and those who haven't. But long story short, I just kind of want to experience the basic closing moments of this trilogy with you guys. I mean, Xenoblade has been an amazing series I've played, so I just want to go on the adventure with you guys. So if you'd like to join me during the live stream, I'll be more than happy. If you show up and we can talk about the game or whatever. But I digress. Like, comment, subscribe, all those good things, and I'll see you later.